To open it up, I be honest with you, didn't see that coming. I think we all knew how good of a team UConn was, but I didn't anticipate us, not with the week of practice, that we had us playing so poorly on both sides of the ball. And so that's what's left me perplexed. Coach Moore has done a phenomenal job. That's a really good football team. And they're going to win a lot of games this year. But I've got to figure out, we as coaches need to figure out why, a decent week of practice did not translate into quality play tonight. And but as I told the radio guys, they asked me, "Are you discouraged?" I'm discouraged right now, but I'm certainly not discouraged for the future. We played arguably 3 of the, top 5 teams we'll play all year in our first 4 games, and that's no excuse. But we still have a lot of time and a lot of room for improvement. We've got Wagner coming into town, followed by a bye week, and then 7 conference games that I think we all know and are confident that we can win them, but we've obviously shown that we need to play a lot better in order to do that. So a bit perplexed. I don't know that I'm going to have great answers for you tonight as to why it happened, but feel free to ask.
Coach, in terms of the run game, you may not have the answer yet, but was there anything just based off what you saw out there that was surprising to you that they did that maybe you didn't expect going into the week?
No. I thought the same thing maybe early, and the iPads certainly helped. But no, everything that they were doing, they played 19 to the field a little bit more than they had shown, but we had practiced against that as well. So no, not a whole lot in terms of the surprise element. We didn't execute.
With Wagner coming up and then the bye week, do you feel like this is the stretch where the passing game and the offense as a whole has to dial in?
I mean, we're past that point, but yeah, I do think, this is, I'd be lying if I, didn't acknowledge the kind of critical juncture we're at in our season. But we've had a tough stretch here. We didn't handle it as well as we would have liked, but we're going to wake up tomorrow and know that we've got a very winnable game at home to get ready for, and then like you said, we've got another week to then take a deep breath and heal up maybe some of the bumps and bruises. But I've seen us at our best, and that's maybe what would become so frustrating and perplexing is how do we as coaches and the leaders on this team get the best out of us over and over and over again, and not to sound like a broken record. That's a really good football team, and we got manhandled at times. They got really good players. Kid made an unbelievable catch there at the end that we were in good position with a freshman corner, and so those things happen tonight too. But more importantly, we've got to find a way. That's 4 straight games offensively we haven't started well, and so that's a problem, and we've got to figure that part out in a hurry.
When it comes to the overall offense, it didn't start fast in the second half. Felt like you were getting some of the run game going. Felt like the pass game started working a little bit. Is there anything you can take from the second half to really translate into the first half to maybe help the offense start a little bit faster?
Well, I think so. I think we play better when we play fast. There's a give and take there when you're not playing well defensively on doing that. But, the last few times we've been kind of in a what we call hurry or 2-minute situation, we moved the ball. Now, does that have a little bit to do with the kind of fronts and coverages we were seeing? Probably. But it is encouraging that we were able to do that for the last couple weeks. So I don't know. You know, there was a thought in my mind. You know, I wrote a note to myself. You know, we got to go fast. Maybe we start the game in 2 minutes just to and let the defense know, hey, we're going to try to go fast. I don't know, but I did know, or I do know that you asked if I was encouraged by some of what I saw there in the second half offensively, and the answer is yes, I was.
When you spoke to the team in the locker room, what was the overall morale? Would you say anyone dejected or positive still?
Dejected. I would be upset if it were positive, but you know, I made a point. We got too many good guys on this team to let some guys that bitch and complain about whether they think their role is what it needs to be or whatever. We have very little of that, and so that was encouraging. I did feel that you know, there was a healthy dejection. You know, there wasn't a whole lot of finger pointing. There was an internal frustration, certainly.
You mentioned that you didn't see this coming. I'm sure one of the things is, you know, his defense has been pretty solid through 3 games, and I'm sure you didn't see that rushing yardage that UConn was able to pile up.
No, I told everyone on Tuesday this is probably the best offensive line we'll play. They got good running backs, and we got pushed around. I did not see that coming. You can kind of understand a little bit when Army rushes for what they did, but to see this and really, you know, there's not a whole lot you can do as a play caller, as a defense, you know, when you're supposed to be in your gap and you're not, or you're supposed to make the tackle and you don't. You know, it's hard. I felt for Rock tonight, you know, that's hard. You're searching for things to help your defense, and it didn't matter what he called. You know, we got to figure out, you know, how we get back to playing as good a defense as we played the first 3 games.
So to build off that, right, when it comes to the defense, were you surprised a little bit by the tempo that UConn showed? And then I guess in more of an overall sense, is there something specific that can help the defense get back on track, or is it more of just an overall unit thing, locking in, just moving on from this week into the next one?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've never been a burn the tape kind of guy. You know, there's whether you lose by 30 or win by 30, you know, there's always a ton to learn from. From the naked eye, just watching, yeah, you know, we were a lot of times in a good call in the right place, and you know, we got moved out of our gaps up front and then didn't make the play, didn't make the tackle in the second and third level. And so is there anything no, you know, we were in good calls, you know, we were yeah, I mean, maybe you can load the box maybe a little bit more, and then you're going to put your secondary on an island. So I thought Rock did a decent job trying to mix in some blitzes on first and second down even too, to kind of stop the bleeding, and there wasn't a whole lot to choose from.
In terms of injuries, was there anything that you walked away from the game?
No, Wheeler, you know, went down a couple times. The ribs is what I heard, but you know, Wendell's been banged up with his kind of knees been sore, so nothing that would have kept guys out.
Thank you, Coach.
Good, thank you.